I'm sitting here like, hey, I don't want a hairy sandwich. And Dougherty doesn't fans are like, you're an evil whore.
Today, I want to talk about Radiantbritt and everyone's favorite Dougherty dozen Aunty Lauren. I'm admittedly late to this story, because although she's regularly mentioned in the Dougherty dozen subreddits and by commentary creators, I hadn't realized just how much content Radiantbritt had dedicated to her until pretty recently. And it's a lot. She's made Aunty Lauren one of the main topics of conversation at least a dozen times. Although Lauren gets a passing mention in most of Brit's Dougherty dozen videos, of which there are now, brace yourself, more than 140. And the majority of this content was made before Lauren started her own channel, while she was still just a subscriber. I think people's opinions on this are going to vary, but I'm not someone who believes that subscribers are always off limits. But I just don't think that Lauren being vocal about who she watches and supports is enough justification, as Brit has argued.
Should Aunty Lauren be talked about because she is a subscriber and not a creator? The way that I feel about this is she has made herself so well known that she's up to be talked about. If you're going to be such a loud supporter of a family vlogging channel and you're constantly talking about your love and admiration for Alicia Dougherty, then I think that you're up for discussion. Is Aunty Lauren off limits when it comes to commentary channels? Sound off in the comments down below. Should she not be talked about because she doesn't have a YouTube channel? She is no longer just a subscriber taking in content. She is someone who wants to be seen. Welcome to the internet. If you don't want anyone to have an opinion about you, talk about you, look your way, stop making yourself publicly known as the #1 fan of one of the most toxic and problematic family vlogging channels on the internet right now. You showed your face. You rebranded your social media to make sure that everybody knows that you support the Dougherty dozen. So you put yourself in this position. You are up for opinions because you put your face out there.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not even saying that Aunty Lauren shouldn't be discussed at all ever, but I do think that Radiantbritt's criticisms of her have been unnecessarily harsh.
Aunty Lauren has been someone who has absolutely just like hated me from day one, and that's okay. But I do think that I've been very fair. I've been very fair to her. I've never, been cruel, never talked about how she physically looks, what her hair looks like.
There are lots of ways a creator's commentary can be unfair or cruel, and despite Brit saying,
I don't think that people should be calling her a creepy stalker.
That has been her entire argument about Aunty Lauren from day one. Radiantbritt's earliest videos on the Dougherty dozen focused on how Alicia oversharing about her kids could result in potential safety concerns, a valid criticism that has been levied against Alicia and other family channels. And Lauren quickly became her go-to example of that threat to their safety, a crazy obsessed fan who might be willing to take her infatuation with Alicia's kids too far.
That she is someone who is oddly infatuated with Alicia's children. This woman that I think has a deep, weird obsession with not only Alicia, but also all of these children. And I find it so alarming that it almost makes me sick to my stomach. Aunty Lauren is someone who has a weird obsession with Alicia and her children. Y'all look at that and think that that's normal. It's not. And I will not argue about that. It is weird. That is creepy behavior. Very, very invested and infatuated with the Dougherty children. Their red flags go up and they call it out for exactly what it is. Creepy behavior, oddly obsessed, entitled to children that you don't know. Aunty Lauren to me is just a walking red flag. I would not want her anywhere near me or my kids or no. Her behavior is very unhinged and scary. I don't want to throw around any diagnoses or anything like that because I'm not a mental health professional, but the thing that I will say is I believe that Lauren is someone who if she was on my radar and was a super fan of my kids, she is someone that I would definitely keep an eye on. If someone who has become obsessed with her children, like Aunty Lauren, and guys, I'm not picking on Aunty Lauren, but Aunty Lauren is someone who is obsessed with the Dougherty dozen. What I'm saying is someone like her could have come across this Instagram and said, you know what? I am so obsessed with these kids that I watch all the time on TikTok. I'm going to go to this event and say hi to so-and-so because I know that they're there. Let's just say, and this is just a scenario that I think of, and it doesn't even take me very long to think of this. Let's just say that someone shows up at her kid's school and is so oddly obsessed with them because Alicia allows weirdos to be obsessed with her kids and she nurtures these relationships. We know this. She's not only putting her child in harm's way, but she's also putting other children that might be in that class, might be on that school bus, might be at that bus stop.
Brit began adding tags like creepy and stalker to some of her videos where Lauren is discussed, and trying to pass off posts from Lauren's social media accounts as evidence of serious intent to show up on the Dougherty doorstep unannounced.
In my opinion, I think it's going to grow out of control. Now, am I making assumptions? Maybe, but if I was Alicia, I wouldn't be surprised if Aunty Lauren is waiting for her in the Wegmans parking lot one day.
In this video, she implies a comparison to 1 Hour Photos Sai, the photo guy.
Feeds into those toxic parasocial relationships that she's constantly feeding into, like the one with Aunty Lauren. We've talked about Aunty Lauren a few times. And if you guys think that these weird people cannot become obsessed with families and children, I recently watched 1 Hour Photo with Robin Williams,
a photo technician who harbors a deeply disturbing obsession with one of the families, makes extra copies of their photos for himself, and arranges them in a haunting collage on the wall of his cold, lonely apartment. He refers to himself as the family uncle, and when his attempts to become closer to them in a real way are rebuffed, his stalking behavior escalates.
According to the Oxford English Dictionary, the word snapshot was originally a hunting term.
If you guys haven't seen that, watch that movie because it really shows a situation where you would not think that this person is like becoming obsessed with your family. And with these family vloggers so openly posting so much about their children, there are absolutely people like Aunty Lauren that are, in their mind, they are part of your family.
She even started referencing Aunty Lauren in videos about other family channels stalkers, warning Alicia to take note before it was too late.
It shouldn't even take a situation like what happened with Rome for Alicia to be able to single out these weird obsessed fans that she has. How long have I been talking about Aunty Lauren? I discovered Aunty Lauren like the second or third video I did on the Doughertys.
All of this is the context for something that happened in December, when Radiantbritt played a clip from a Dougherty dozen live stream, alleging that one of the kids asked if Aunty Lauren was out of jail. That video has since been removed, but I found the clips on Not Another Housewife's channel. I'll link her video on this situation below if anyone's interested.
In Alicia's unboxing, it was brought to my attention from one of my subscribers and one of my followers on Instagram showed me that in her unboxing, one of the kids actually asked if Aunty Lauren got out of jail.
This what she kisses.
The puzzle was a present from Aunty Lauren and her family and her sister and her mom. Yeah. I think.
Now, Aunty Lauren to me is someone who is a walking red flag. I think it's very weird that she is so oddly obsessed with the Dougherty dozen, has rebranded her own social media to incorporate DD for Dougherty dozen. She labels herself as an auntie, even though she's not related to the Doughertys at all. And I'm not going to excuse this kind of creepy behavior.
So I went and I actually slowed down the clip of what Everyone is saying that the child said, I took a screen recording, and the child actually says, if you slow it down and you listen to it closely, which Brit couldn't be bothered to do, you know, because the second one of her subscribers sends her something, she just runs on her channel. The child actually said, does Aunty Lauren have a family?
Puzzle was a present from Aunty Lauren and her family and her sister. Yeah.
So as you guys can see, when you slow it down, the child actually says, does Aunty Lauren have a family? Which makes sense because Alicia literally said seconds before, this is a gift from Aunty Lauren and her family. And the child said, does Aunty Lauren have a family? And she said, yeah.
Lauren posted to her social media in an effort to clear things up.
Just clearing up the rumor, I have never been in jail. Maybe check your facts before you decide to run with your comments, Radiantbritt.
Hey guys, I'm doing this post because I want to clear up something that was mentioned today. Never before have I been in jail. Never before have I been arrested by the police. Never before have I been in trouble with the law. So before you decide to start saying stuff, please check your facts because it actually can be quite damaging to someone's reputation. Hey guys, it's Lauren here. I just wanted to set the record straight following a video that was uploaded by Radiantbritt yesterday, in which apparently one of the kids was misheard asking if I'd been in jail. The child was actually asking if I had a family, for which Alicia responded yes. Since then, I've been copying messages. I've had allegations and accusations made on both Reddit and Facebook. I know this isn't going to make any difference to what was posted, but I just wanted to set the record straight because I don't think it's very fair that I'm being both defamed and slandered for something that was apparently misheard. If you slow it down, you will actually be able to hear the real question. Thank you.
Her posts were respectful and I think level-headed, considering the way this rumor had already begun to impact her in real life. And this is how Radiantbritt responded, starting with a pinned comment she left on the original video.
Aunty Lauren is quite upset with me. LOL. Oh, I'm glad it's funny. I'm glad you're laughing that you lied about somebody and spread misinformation about someone going to jail. Real funny. Haha, bitch. So, Lauren, I know you're here watching. I was repeating what the child asked Alicia in her own video and backed it up with a clip. The clip didn't even say that, you dumbass. It was a simple observation. I couldn't care less, even if it were true. You couldn't care less, yet you decided to mention it in a video and call her a walking red flag and a creep. I conclude my opinions off someone's catalog of public actions and words, as I've done with you and many others in my lifetime. Cheers to you. I've never wished anything bad on you, even though you've called her a freaking creepy weirdo that's obsessed with children. Okay, Brit.
She also responded in two videos made on December 31st, 2022 and January 1st, 2023, in which she continued to double down on what was said in the clip and act as though this were a matter of interpretation.
I was just sharing what was in Alicia's own video. Alicia made the decision to not edit it out. So Aunty Lauren, why don't you go tell your bestie Alicia to edit things out of her vlog if you don't want people to have an opinion or share them. I heard what the child said. What I heard, and let me reiterate this for anyone who has an issue hearing what I'm saying. This is what I heard. It was my interpretation of what I was taking in on Alicia's video. What I heard a child say was, let's just pull up the video. Hold on.
The puzzle was a present from Aunty Lauren and her family and her sister. Yeah.
What I am hearing in this clip is a child say, is Aunty Lauren out of jail? That is what I heard. A couple people were saying, oh, the child said, does Aunty Lauren have a family or something like that? That is not even remotely what I heard. But maybe this whole situation is like the, do you see a white and gold dress or do you see a blue and white dress with the stripe thing? It's just interpretation. All that I did was listen to this clip of the video, share my interpretation of it, and open it up to you guys. I backed it up with the clip of what I interpreted it as.
It's a confusing clip and a lot of people misheard it, so I don't really fault Brit for that. But engaging in a little online debate over whether you think this dress is black and blue or white and gold doesn't hurt anyone. In this case, someone's real reputation is at risk. And the fact that Brit can't acknowledge a reasonable request to clear this up, without a smirk on her face and her voice dripping with such disdain.
I think that it's completely absurd to get so upset over something that was just simply said by a child.
Shows that she's incapable of discussing Lauren in any kind of fair way, not to mention a real lack of integrity. So Radiantbritt may believe that she has only ever shared her opinion on what she has seen online. And, yes, opinions are subjective. The problem is her continually using those opinions to imply that Lauren is dangerous and poses a legitimate threat to children. Brit does this because if she can convince the viewer to accept the picture she has painted of Lauren's intentions with the Dougherty family, then Alicia's continued interactions with her can be presented as evidence that, as Brit sets out to argue in most of her videos, Alicia refuses to protect her children from known threats to their safety online.
I think Aunty Lauren is the worst example of what a parasocial relationship looks like. I think that she is oddly obsessed with this family. I almost feel ill when I think about the level of obsession that she has built around some of these kids. And the fact that Alicia literally feeds and waters this scary ass relationship tells me that she doesn't care about the privacy of her kids. She doesn't care about the fact that some weird lady in Australia is literally obsessing over her children. And Alicia constantly feeds into it. She's constantly making it seem like Aunty Lauren is actually related to them and some kind of like best friend comrade. And I think it's absolutely irresponsible to egg someone like that on. You are giving her the attention and the admiration that she is seeking from you by sharing things like, oh, it's my birthday and these are the people that I care about. You're giving her what she's seeking and she is obsessed with your kids. How is that okay? If Alicia is talking to Aunty Lauren every morning, no wonder the woman feels comfortable enough to send her face on a doll to Alicia's children. She's definitely not going out of her way to protect her and her children when it comes to this woman that I think has a deep, weird obsession. There's a very unique parasocial relationship that's been built there, and typically it's one-sided, but with this, Alicia has egged it on and fed it and watered it. Fed Aunty Lauren's obsession in order to nurturing parasocial relationships with people like Aunty Lauren. Nurture it so deeply. Definitely nurturing and watering this relationship with Aunty Lauren. Watering and feeding the parasocial relationship waters it and allows it to grow and grow and grow, and it's just grown a lot until you have someone like Aunty Lauren harvest people that are weirdly obsessed with her kids. If I was Alicia, I would stop literally watering this toxic, scary parasocial relationship.
Speaking of parasocial relationships, Radiantbritt speaks about them a lot for someone who doesn't seem to know what they are. Parasocial relationships are 99% of the time one-sided, even though sometimes a creator, like I talked with about Alicia Dougherty, usually you don't have a creator going to those lengths to give someone that much attention and call them their best friend and constantly mention them in passing, like all the time. She talks about Aunty Lauren. Usually it's more one-sided. So Alicia, parasocial relationships are usually one-sided. The critical part of the definition is that they are one-sided and unreciprocated. All the work Brit has done to prove that Alicia is feeding into a toxic parasocial relationship.
Now, I don't know if it's a conversation every day, but just the sheer amount of attention that she gives to this Aunty Lauren lady
Actually proves that it isn't one. It's a friendship that was originally formed online. This is something that Alicia has even confirmed.
On the live stream this afternoon, she literally said that Aunty Lauren was her best friend. She says, true friends, genuine, unconditional friendship. Everyone deserves a friend like Lauren. She's amazing. I don't know what I did to deserve her in my life, but I am so thankful.
In other words, not at all one-sided. And the reason this matters is because most of Brit's talking points about Lauren are things that are maybe creepy if she's a complete stranger, but not if she's a friend. Talking about wanting to visit someone you don't know is creepy. Talking about wanting to visit a friend is not. Sending personalized gag gifts and Christmas gifts to people you don't know might be a little creepy. Sending them to your friend and her children is not. Calling yourself auntie to children who have no clue who you are is creepy. Children calling you auntie because you're their mom's close friend is not. Following the social media accounts of a stranger's children is a little creepy. Following the social media accounts of your friends' children is not.
And I did also get a couple questions when I did that video on Stacy and his mom Shay. They're on TikTok. I did that video and, most of you guys took it for what it was.
As for the accusations that Lauren has formed inappropriate relationships with the children, I don't see any evidence of that. Any comments Lauren has left for specific children seem pretty innocuous to me, the majority just hi or happy birthday. Radiantbritt has passed Lauren's profile picture off as evidence that Lauren is posting photos of children she doesn't know. But this isn't just a photo of the Dougherty kids. It's a photo of the Dougherty family and was, at the time, the Dougherty dozen's profile picture. While I'm on this note, I don't find it that weird that Lauren rebranded her social media accounts, considering she did this when she started moderating for them. I won't share them for privacy reasons, but I do know that Lauren has other private social media accounts that have nothing to do with the Dougherty dozen. Brit has also included this video from Lauren's TikTok in some of her commentary, implying that this video was directed at the Dougherty dozen kids.
Everyone say hello to Annette. Hello. Hey guys. Everyone say hello to Bernadette. Hello.
Nana Shazza, guys, come give me a follow. You won't be disappointed.
Doing it for the kids.
Oh, that is so cute.
Bye.
Lauren herself cleared this up, sharing that this video had nothing to do with the Doughertys and the slogan "Doing It for the Kids" belonged to a charity event she participated in for the Royal Children's Hospital in Melbourne. In short, I think the majority of the criticism directed at Aunty Lauren is undeserved. She isn't a public figure, but just your average social media user who moderates for a friend she made online. The only difference is that that friend found online fame shortly after. At this point, sharing of opinions has become plain old bullying. And Radiantbritt has absolutely contributed to this. I come away from Brit's commentary about Lauren with a strong sense that she's way too emotionally involved here.
Of course, Aunty Lauren is in the chat. It would not be a live stream if Aunty Lauren was not one of the first ones to be addressed by Alicia. I need to make a TikTok. I need to go respond to Aunty Lauren's email. I'm sure my video tonight will get Alicia and her fans and her bestie Aunty Lauren talking again because they just adore me so much. Alicia, why don't you go roast s'mores with your best friend, Aunty Lauren. Aunty Lauren, if you're watching, hey, sorry you're blocked from my channel.
So maybe here's another thing Radiantbritt is missing about parasocial relationships. We don't only have them with media figures we like. Donald Horton and Richard Wall, who first coined the term parasocial relationships in 1956, explained that it is only when one of these one-sided relationships becomes a substitute for autonomous social participation, when it proceeds in absolute defiance of objective reality, that it can be regarded as pathological. I won't pretend to know how Radiantbritt's commentary on the Dougherty dozen has impacted her real-life social interactions. Although just the playtime of her Dougherty dozen content totals more than 35 hours in the past year. But the part about being in absolute defiance of objective reality does seem to fit the bill here. Because while I agree with a lot of Radiantbritt's concerns with family channel content, It feels like her being overly invested in this family has led her to behave on her channel in a way she claims she never would, in ways she continues to condemn the Dad Challenge podcast for.
I don't know, guys. Like, if you're still on board with whatever this is, I don't know. It might be time to, like, reflect, and maybe you're, quote, like, drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit too much, because we can all be for not having kids exploited for money and have their personal info kept safe and have their privacy be a top concern. But this is hostile, cruel, and uninformed. And that's my opinion.
And how she has continued to treat Lauren without any regard for the impact on her life and mental health seems to be a perfect example of that.